Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day on this show. This is our new show. It's called EP Live, and we've got an incredible show for you today. We've got Chris Stewart in from Kerberos Productions, who's going to be showing us a brand new board game. These guys make video games, but all of a sudden, poof, they make board games. So we're going to find out about that very soon. And also, our old friend Baruti is in the house, and we're going to be playing some Monster Hunter World. Plus, we've got reviews, and we've got buried treasures, we've got this day and everything cool, all kinds of fun stuff for you. But first, we're going to start with your rundown. The first news of the day is something that is very near and dear to my heart. We won't have to wait much longer for the next Indiana Jones movie. Director Steven Spielberg is planning to begin filming the new indie adventure next year in 2019, just as soon as he's finished with his next film, a remake of the iconic musical West Side Story. That film is due out next year, which puts the new indie movie on track to hit theaters in summer 2020, which is what has been announced already. Few details about the new film have been revealed. All we do know is that Spielberg will direct, with Harrison Ford back in the lead role. He's going to be our Indiana Jones for the time being. Indy's retired co-creator George Lucas, on the other hand, isn't expected to be involved. I know that there's a big wah-wah-wah happening around the internet right now. Ford will be 76 years old when filming begins and will be celebrating his 78th birthday just after the film hits theaters, which is incredible. And my congrats to you, Mr. Harrison Ford. You are an amazing human being. I just loved your work recently. I know Harrison Ford is watching because he's a big fan of Electric Playground. He is of me as I am of him. But I just finished watching his incredible performance in Blade Runner 2049. I am still eager for more Indiana Jones, and I still think Harrison Ford can pull off lead roles in big AAA blockbusters like he did with Force Awakens, like he just did with Blade Runner 2049. It's going to be interesting to see where they take Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones in the future, because obviously this is going to be, I think, more about a guy that gets by on his wits and his smarts and his adoration of cultural heritage and putting things into the museum. But I also think we might have a more poignant kind of look at the end of an adventurer's life. And Spielberg has been making some really cool movies that haven't been massive AAA sci-fi epics. We've got Ready Player One about to launch. But he's been making movies with real heart and real resonance, and I'm very eager to see what these two collaborate on. It's too bad Shia LaBeouf ended up being as much of a punk off-screen as he was on-screen for the last Indiana Jones movie, because that would have been an interesting segue. I think Shia LaBeouf's an incredible actor, but he, I think, burned some bridges. I'm still eager. I'd love to hear what you guys think. You guys can put some comments and stuff into the chat, or if you're watching the archive, let us know in the comments below. We'll get to some of those. We've got our Let's Play and chat at the end of the show, so we can talk about Indiana Jones. I'm here for that all day. I love Indiana Jones, and I for one, am excited. Now, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is a huge hit on the PC, and it's off to a good start on the Xbox One. I think great start is probably the better term here. Battlegrounds has so far sold 4 million copies on the Xbox One, making it the second best-selling game on the platform behind Halo 5 Guardians at 5 million copies. Battlegrounds has only been out for a month, though, and it could pass Halo to become #1 soon. Microsoft hasn't released specific sales figures for the Xbox One platform itself, but estimates put lifetime sales at somewhere around 30 million, which means roughly 1 in 7 Xbox One owners have already bought a copy of Battlegrounds, and that is outstanding. It's not all good news, though. The Xbox One version of Battlegrounds is still in its unfinished game preview program state, which is why it's been plagued with glitches, server outages, and long wait times ever since it launched. The developers are still working on it and promise to have the issues fixed soon. Battlegrounds is an unbelievable phenomenon in the video game industry. This battle royale kind of concept where everybody's dropped into a space and then they fight to the death and fight to the finish is exhilarating. It's very easy to understand. It's very easy to get lost in it, and it makes for a perfect console game. I think what's going to be interesting now, this is a timed exclusivity deal that Microsoft did with Bluehole, so we'll see how this sort of evolves in the future and whether we're going to get cross-platform play so Xbox owners can play against PC players out there and get smacked in the head with many, many frying pans, because the PC players, the Master Race is going to crush the Xbox players on PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. It's a fun game. I haven't been completely consumed by it, mostly because I've really just played it on. I played it a little bit on the PC, but now because it is on Xbox One, I played it a little bit on Xbox One, and it isn't quite as polished as it is on the PC. And I've had a lot of shooters recently that have also eaten up a big chunk of time that I feel deliver lots more variety in terms of the gameplay styles and stuff. They give me some single player and some multiplayer. But I definitely do appreciate all of the love for Battlegrounds, and I think I have to douse myself in it for a weekend at least and come back and give you my sort of full take, my full thoughts on it. I've come close to getting to I've come into like number 12, number 13, which is pretty exhilarating, but then it feels like you get that far and then you're dead, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that was an hour for nothing. But then you want to go back. I totally get it. I get the hook. All right, let's move on. The upcoming sequel to the classic horror movie The Shining, yes, I said that right, there's a sequel coming for The Shining, has found a director, filmmaker Mike Flanagan, who helmed the horror movie Oculus, which was pretty good, and the Netflix adaptation of Stephen King's book Gerald's Game is set to helm the big screen adaptation of the recent Stephen King book Dr. Sleep. Published in 2013, Dr. Sleep is a sequel to King's classic horror tale, The Shining, and focuses on an adult version of Danny Torrance, who battles vampire-like monsters in the present day. The film adaptation is being made by Warner Brothers, which recently struck gold with the breakout adaptation of another King book, It. Mike Flanagan's take on Gerald's Game was well received, so if Dr. Sleep is just as good, Warner Brothers could have another box office smash, and no release date for the film has been set. Now, obviously, Stanley Kubrick has set a huge high bar, with The Shining. It will be interesting to see how Flanagan comes even remotely close to that. But horror movies are a staple with studios. They are cheap to make, and they can make tons and tons of money, and you don't have to cast, expensive celebrities, because mostly they just kill off all these unknowns anyways. So this could be cool. This could be good. I think it will be completely different from what we've seen with The Shining before. It will be absolutely tailored for modern audiences. I wouldn't, be surprised if this happens, because, we've got a road here. It hasn't been for sure announced that this has got a release date and everything. But if this happens, it's a success. I wouldn't be surprised at all if The Shining gets remade in the tone of this new movie. But we'll see. What do you guys think? Huge horror movie fans out there? Did you like it? Are you fans of what is happening with Stephen King's books? Did you like The Dark Tower? Let us know in the comments below. All right. Let's move back to video games. Fans know when to expect the next Pillars of Eternity game. Developer Obsidian Entertainment has announced that the final version of Pillars of Eternity 2, the sequel to their 2015 RPG, is set to hit the PC, Mac, and Linux on April 3rd. That's coming up pretty quick. This is actually the first sequel that Obsidian Entertainment has ever made to one of their games, and they promise to have even more story, character customization, and magical abilities than in the first game, with a bigger and more detailed open world to explore. I love those Obsidian guys. We were fortunate enough to work with them when we made the making of Fallout New Vegas for Bethesda, and we spent a lot of time with the Obsidian folks, and I've been to that studio many times over the years to interview them on lots of games that they've made for other publishers, and it's just so exciting to see when an independent developer breaks out on their own and creates their own IP and their own publishing strategy. Kickstarter has turned out to work out very well for these guys. I sat on a panel with a couple Obsidian dudes. Josh, I forget his last name, was one of them, at PAX, and they were great. They had much love and appreciation for their fan base. They completely sort of understood the responsibility of making everybody happy once they had become sort of a Kickstarter investor. And I think they've done exactly that with Pillars of Eternity. We're in this kind of new renaissance for over-the-top, massive role-playing experiences. They disappeared when we got all kinds of cool 3D, RPGs from companies like BioWare and Bethesda. But Kickstarter kind of opened the door for fans of that kind of established take on RPGs to go back to that world and developers stepped up and have delivered awesome things. So hats off to you, Obsidian. Looking forward to playing Pillars of Eternity 2. That's our rundown for today, though. It's time to move on to something completely new. It is a new segment that we started for Season 28. It's called This Day in Everything Cool. Welcome to This Day in Everything Cool for January 26th. On January 26, 1996, two of the biggest genres in gaming collided. Sega released Guardian Heroes on the Saturn, fusing the beat-em-up and RPG genres into a new hybrid called What Else? A beat-em-up RPG. Players moved across a 2D screen, beating up waves of enemies, similar to games like Golden Axe and Final Fight, but with RPG-style character progression, branching paths, and an in-depth story. It was a hit, but unfortunately wasn't enough to save the Sega Saturn itself, because the system had a short lifespan and was discontinued a few years later. On this day in 2004, NASA's Mars rover Opportunity touched down on the surface of the Red Planet. It landed a few weeks after its sister rover called Spirit, with both of them set to uncover new secrets about Mars, including whether or not it ever had water on the surface. Opportunity and Spirit were originally expected to only be online and active for a few months, but they vastly outlived their lifespan. Spirit went offline in 2010, while Opportunity is still active to this day. The more recent and more advanced Curiosity rover touched down on a different part of Mars in 2012. Speaking of outer space, on January 26, 2010, BioWare released Mass Effect 2 on the PC and Xbox 360. It built upon the characters, universe, and action RPG gameplay of its predecessor, and is considered by some to be one of the greatest games of all time. With the polarized reception of Mass Effect 3 and the failure of the recent Mass Effect Andromeda, 2 is unequivocally the last universally loved game in the series, and hopefully the franchise can recapture the same glory at some point in the future. Mass Effect 2 was released on the PS3 a year later. Also on January 26, 2010, Apple changed personal computing once again by announcing the original version of the iPad. Rumors about the device had been swirling for months leading up to the official unveiling, and when it was finally shown off, many were skeptical, fearing that the device would be nothing more than a novelty trapped between a smartphone and a laptop. Apple proved them wrong, and the success and usefulness of the iPad made the fledgling tablet market mainstream, and other tech companies rushed to create their own similar devices. Reading comic books has never been better. All right, we are back, and we have a new human in the midst here in the studio.
I'm not that new, let's be honest about that.
Chris Stewart is here from Kerberos. How are you, my friend?
Good.
I guess we have to stand here a little bit for this, right? Here, I'm going to try to...
Well, no, this is a tabletop game, but your table is more for your show,
Yeah,
so standing helps a little bit.
Okay, all right, cool. You're much taller. Oh, I see. I'm standing now. I can see the screen. Okay.
I gotcha.
I'm a little closer in height, too. So, Blake, we're going to try our best to be heard in this, and hopefully you guys can see the board. What are you doing? What is this? What are we taking a look at?
What you're taking a look at is we made a roguelike on PC, Mac, etc. It's up on Steam called The Pit.
Okay.
It's set in a sci-fi universe that we've created over a number of games, the sort of the Stars universe, but it's a fairly classic roguelike.
Okay.
Did really, really well for us, really, really popular with roguelike players. And then from day one, I mean, we've been tabletop gamers, and as video gamers, we always said, we love playing tabletop games. That's why we're serious gamers. This is why we make video games. But the idea of making a game was, it was not an average thing. You either went one way or the other. But in recent years, with Kickstarter, access to production, the dream became a reality, and that's what we did. We spent the last year and a half translating the video game into a tabletop game.
Very cool.
Which is what we're looking at here.
Okay, well, I don't. How long does one of these games usually last to play through?
It's completely variable. This is a dungeon crawler. Dungeon crawlers are get together with your friends, go room by room by room, run into monsters. Okay. It's an evening's worth of gameplay. This is it's not like playing Go Fish or anything like that, obviously.
Right.
But that said, what we've done is the game is got all this randomization in rooms, in monsters, in items. So at the end of a night, you hit a point where you're like, let's just walk away. It's very easy to make a note of your player.
Okay.
Walk away. You can even pack it all up, and then the next time you can all get together, open it back up, everything's random, so it doesn't matter how these cards go. Put out your guys, away you go. So,
all right.
Yeah.
What is this is an enormous bag of dice. Why would you need so much dice? So many.
Because rolling dice is awesome. That's why you need that many dice.
Okay.
What we've got is, you decided, I asked you in advance, you want to play Marine.
Yeah, I'm
And
Marine.
I'm the Scout.
Okay.
So we'll get these guys a little out of the way here, off
Okay.
to the side.
All right.
And each player, there's 4...
Do we have enough stuff out?
Oh, yeah, we got tons of stuff. I'm going to keep throwing it out as we talk here.
Okay, all right,
while I
cool.
explain things to you.
Okay.
There's 4 character classes. You're all Space Marines.
Okay.
You want to be the full-on Space Marine.
Yes.
But
I mean, when you have an option,
when you have an option,
you
why
want to
not,
be the
right?
Marine, right?
We also have the Scout. I'm going to play the Scout because
Okay.
you know you and I are not going to. We're not going to play all day. I wish we could play all day.
Yeah.
But we can't play all day.
You can't play all day.
So I'm going to go for a Scout. So the
Okay.
Scout's in between, fast, but I
Okay.
can do some good hitting. There's also a medic and there's also an engineer, because
Okay.
one of the things you can do is you can find items, you can craft them together into new stuff.
Awesome.
And that's the secret of any roguelike, and same here, is you got to keep your food up, you got to keep your ammo up, and you got to keep renewing your items and stuff like that. So
Okay,
that's
very
it
cool.
in a nutshell, and I think it's probably best. I'm just going to throw you into the pool here,
Just do it.
because...
Just throw me in and explain it as we go.
All right, so I'm going to make you go first.
Okay.
Right? That makes perfect sense.
Sure.
We've got your health counters here for food,
Okay.
your health, and your ammunition.
Okay.
When you attack and shoot, obviously you're going to go down in bullets. At
Okay.
the end of a turn, you're going to go down in food, and if you take hits, which you're going to do,
Yeah.
you go down in your health there.
Okay.
So I got my markers here.
All right.
So turn order is basically, here's our guys.
Yep.
Your little guy there.
Okay.
All right. So we have rooms, and we're going to randomly draw them. We don't know what they are.
Okay.
You and I are going to start.
It looks so pro, first of all. Can I just say that you guys did an amazing... This is the prototype, right? This isn't something you can walk into a store and buy this
No,
right
this
now.
is the last version of the prototype. I mean, we started out
It looks amazing.
printing out in our laser printer and cutting by hand. This was the last one where we had somebody go out and we had them print it all up.
Wow.
And then on Kickstarter, what we're offering up now is the the box and the full production and everything.
That's
so,
crazy.
so we're starting a new level.
Okay.
It's an alien facility, old, ancient, could be thousands of years. There's an AI that's gotten a little rusty
Okay.
and a little crazy.
So would you describe this like, I mean, we're Space Marines and stuff. Is this kind of like Halo as a board game or something like that? Is it kind of like a first-person shooter, I mean, or an RTS? Like, how would you...
There's an element of that. It's more akin to an RPG.
Okay.
And very much so in this case, because your guys start with, you have scouts or skills.
Okay.
You have items. So you start with some food. You start with a med patch.
Okay.
Breaching charge, because you're not great at opening doors on your own.
Okay.
Flak jacket to keep you from blowing up. You got a knife if you don't want to save bullets. An auto rifle. And you have combat mastery and sniper. Those are handy. Hold on to those.
This is amazing. These little cards are so incredible, dude. I love it.
All right. So we don't know where anything is. We can't see down the hallways. We can't see into rooms.
Okay. Now, you haven't made a video game version of this exact game.
Yes.
Of this exact...
This exact game.
So
is,
the pit is a video game.
if I pulled up an item or a monster, and
Yeah.
I mean it's a bit far away here,
Yeah.
sort of thing. This is actually taken from the game.
From
All
the-
the monsters are from the
pit.
From the pit.
So you can buy this as a video game.
Yep.
Right now.
Right now.
And you can play this whole experience.
Yep.
Or you can play this offline with
It
your
is so
friend.
close that if you go to Kickstarter and look for the pit, the board game, one of the perks we have, if people want to take a first step in and see what the world is, one of the tiers is for $5, we'll give you the video game.
Oh, wow.
And then if you like that and want to try the board game,
Yeah.
come on board.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
When was the pit developed then? I'm sorry I don't know all of this stuff.
That was 5 years ago.
5 years ago, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been up for a while. We had a bunch of add-ons and DLCs and character add-ons. And again, that's reflected in our Kickstarter too. We have stretch goals that bring in the extra characters.
That's
But the
great.
base game, you have the 4 characters, you have the end boss figures.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
These guys did Kaiju A Go-Go, which I loved as well. I thought that was super cool. And
Yeah.
I think you're probably most famous for Sword of the Stars, right?
Yes, and this is the same universe.
Same universe as Sword of the Stars. Okay.
Author Erin Dembo is our lore mistress, and she has been building up the universe, making note of the universe along with us as we develop stuff.
Very cool.
Keeping track of it. Yeah, so we're all set in that same IP.
Okay, so what do I do now?
All right, well, space is limited. I will
Yeah.
point out down here, again, one more layer of replayability. We have this monster track.
Yep.
So as we were going along, we'd be drawing monsters that could pop out at us.
Okay.
Space is an issue here.
Okay. Gotcha.
On your EP live table.
Okay.
But what I will jump you into is, so basically you have a move and an action.
Okay.
So right now we're starting at the start of floor 2.
Okay.
AI says traps, system administrator, turn on all the traps. They're bound to hurt somebody.
Okay.
I should warn people, like all roguelikes, the game is trying to kill you.
And so you start over just like you would in any roguelike.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay,
right?
gotcha.
So, and actually, there's a good time to point out, too, it's up to 4 players, but like all roguelikes, you can play this by yourself, too.
Okay.
So in our instance, there's just 2 of us playing, which means as we reveal monsters, I know what the manual says to adjust down. So we're not going to get swamped or anything.
That's cool.
When unlocking a door, player takes 3R attack. So every time you open a door, no matter how good you are,
Yeah.
it's gonna take a swipe at you.
So how do I do that?
All right, first things first. Unexplored hallway.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'll probably want to move into there.
Do I flip it or
Flip it.
Okay, so I flip.
We'll just move that out of the way. So now
Okay.
you can decide where you want to stand.
I'll be on 3.
There you go.
Okay.
Now we don't know what's going to pop up there, if anything.
Okay.
This is where the fun dice come into play here.
Okay.
So do me a favor.
I've never seen that many dice in one bag.
Grab that
ever
6-sided, give
Okay.
it a roll. There we are. All right. So 1A monster pops up.
1A monster. Okay.
And it's a light security bond Mark III.
Am I dead?
No, you're not dead.
Okay.
You're fine. As a matter of fact, we have, because we've been prototyping and 3D printing,
Okay.
we got the miniature for it. So I'll put them right there.
All right. Oh my God! No way! Really?
Yep.
So you guys have been printing your own miniatures for the game, and that all comes in the box as well?
Yeah.
That's great.
There's 10, the
Okay.
base 10, which is the 4 player characters, and as you go down to the end, 5,
Yeah.
basically there's a big boss battle, and we have the boss monsters as well.
That's great. That's great. Blake, how are we sounding? Because we're moving around a little bit.
You guys sound good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
okay?
my
All right.
teachers have always said I'm loud, so I'm hoping
You
I
have
can.
a stage voice, Chris.
Thank you.
It's wonderful.
Picking you up in both mics. So.
Oh, there you go.
Both of us? Yeah, okay.
So we got, and we're not there. These,
Okay.
that's a.
Oh, you're still printing, you're still getting the models and stuff together.
Yeah, it's all up on Kickstarter too. We have add-ons if people want. I want more rats. I want more robots.
These are great.
Do you like those?
Come on, you must have some kind of a deal sort of percolating right now with these. There's board game stores all over the place.
Yeah, we're right now our focus is on the Kickstarter, making sure that the people who back us, we can give them customs-friendly shipping and all that. So
This is great, man.
Canadians, Americans, Europe, we're nailing down the familiar. Yeah, but there are.
Yeah, it's a totally
There's a
different...
lot of people looking at it going, ooh, can we get this into a store for you?
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll get to that.
Cool.
Anyways, you run into a monster, you got to fight it. So
Okay.
you're the first through the door.
Yeah.
You open up the hallway, you poked your head through,
Yeah.
it wants to fight you.
Okay.
There's nobody else there. Like normally it fixates on position 1, but since there's nobody there, it's going to attack you.
Yeah.
So you get first shot.
Okay.
What you have here is you have your attack value of 2,
Okay.
and the attack value of whatever you want to fight with,
Okay.
knife or gun.
Am I close to, like physically on the board? I'm next to him, but
It's
how close?
abstract. It's abstract.
Abstract,
We
okay.
do have ranges. So like your weapon has a range that you could shoot down the hallway or shoot from the hall into a room.
Okay.
But right now you're essentially.
I want to stand back. I don't want to get shot by him. I'm going to use my auto rifle.
I hate to tell you this. He's going to shoot at you. But
Okay.
all right. So 2 attack, 4 there.
Okay.
All right. So you got 6 attack dice total.
Oh, 6 dice. Here we go. Big money, big money, big money.
Big money. Take
Okay,
those.
all right.
Now the other thing is hang on one sec.
Okay.
There's a thing called fate.
All
You
right.
don't have much as a Marine because what do Marines do? They make their own luck.
Okay, right.
But your weapon has 2.
I know that because I used to be
a Marine.
Yeah, okay. So my weapon has 2. Do I roll all of these then?
You roll it all. Those
Wow.
fate dice, depending on what you get,
Wow.
give you some more random effects here. So,
All right. So what
all
happened
right.
now?
So you've got 1 does nothing on the fate, and 5 is your special trigger.
Oh,
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
And I'll tell you what that is in a second. Here.
Okay.
But right now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Oh,
Do you come in the box?
Do me?
So, yeah, so that you can explain this game and play it.
we tested it at conventions and all that. After a couple of turns,
Yeah, everybody gets
people
it.
gets it.
Okay.
People were swapping out because they had to leave, and other people come in and they were training one another. It was
Oh,
that,
that's
it was
cool.
straightforward.
That's
so
cool.
we got 7 hits.
Okay.
All right.
Hey guys, if people want to see the pieces, can I hold one up to the camera?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You want to? Here, you can run off with my scout for the time being, and one of the end monsters there.
Okay.
Right. So He's got a defense of 2.
Okay.
So actually, I think you've basically just given him a lethal swat. But
Okay. Did these cards?
Too dark, can't see it.
Okay.
Oh, well.
We need another
All right.
camera, which would be so great to just add another camera into this stream, wouldn't it?
And that'll be all the time.
I'll roll for the robot. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, and I rolled terribly.
2 blanks.
He blocked nothing.
Okay. Oh, so you roll. I see. The
Yeah.
other player.
Other
rolls
players
for-
roll. Yeah.
Okay, so the robot blocked nothing. He's about to be destroyed.
It's terrible. You've hit it 7 times. It's only got 5 health.
Okay.
And I mentioned before that you had the
I
special.
kick ass. Look at me. Video game skills. I don't know.
You have your special trigger ability, which means if it had not survived, you could have taken another shot.
Okay.
You also have your skills, like you can turn hits into misses and all that. But really, for your first attack, for your first fight,
Yeah.
you've devastated it. So,
Do I get to eat that piece now?
no.
Okay.
But
all
you
right.
do get to keep
Okay,
this.
Okay, I get to keep this.
What you do
Okay.
is you collect the monsters that you kill,
Okay.
and you can trade them in for increasing or adding skills,
Oh wow.
or they have markers on them.
So this is salvage,
yeah,
basically.
or they have markers that if you have the right combination of markers over various items and monsters, you
Yeah.
can, in a recipe, and you're in the right room, you can create a new item. So there are weapons that you can only get by making them.
So kill and craft.
Yeah, you got lots and lots of choices. You can
Very cool.
make sure you go through every room and take everything, but of course you're losing food and ammo. You can
Would I put this on a special pile somewhere, or do I just put it
if
right
we
here?
if we were at
Okay.
a slightly bigger table,
Yeah.
you'd have your player stuff and you
Pretty
just keep
big.
it.
How big of a table do you like?
Not much
kitchen
more.
table? Okay.
Kitchen
all right.
table is fine.
All right,
This is
kitchen
not.
Okay.
Going on record.
I don't think we could fit a bigger table in.
All right. So you basically took it out. If you want to reveal the room,
Yeah.
which being the first one, we'll do that.
Okay. Oh, it's
There
a
you
barracks.
are. So the barracks.
All right.
Now we're on the second floor, so we know there's going to be 3 enemies, except it's just you and me playing, which means it comes down by 1. So 2
okay.
monsters.
Okay.
Now I need you to roll that dice again,
Okay.
because we don't know if they're hiding or not. That one is not.
Okay.
Do one more for me.
Okay.
A medium protean, and that one is not either.
Okay.
And a maintenance bot.
Okay.
Guys lost a card.
Oh,
Thank you. Monsters B pile, please.
I wasn't going to go running around in the middle of it.
All right. So what do we have? A protein and a what?
Maintenance bot.
Okay.
The protean is a bit of a pain in the butt, but
Okay.
the maintenance bot is a bit of an easier target. But together,
Is it still my turn?
no,
No, it's your turn.
it's my turn.
Okay, that's
So
good.
basically,
Okay. There's your guy.
oh, there it is. He had it there.
Well, Christmas colors.
So I'm going to come in, lock 1 plus hits. So what you
Okay.
do is you take a look at your finesse. I got 5, and you give it a roll.
This is amazing, dude. This really feels like a video game just threw up all over my table here. I love it.
All right,
It's,
threw
Open the box.
threw Victor Lucas. It threw up all over my table.
but I love it. I thought like the tactility is just so good. I mean, it's throw up, but it's
you go.
beautiful throw up.
I successfully opened the door.
Okay.
Now remember, I mentioned they have their favorite spots. So one is I'm going to go to 1.
Okay.
The maintenance bot. All right, so I'm in, and now I get to attack. So I'm going to try and kill the maintenance bot fast.
Okay.
I'll use my. There we go. In the space thing here, I've got a auto pistol. So
Okay.
it's got an attack of 3, and I've got an extra attack of 1. I got lots of fate going on here too. I give it a roll.
Sweet.
4 hits, and a 0 is a special trigger, which means there we go. Make a second attack.
Another attack,
And a
okay.
nothing. So
Okay.
if
So you get nothing here. That means nothing.
that's right.
Okay, so no hits.
This
and,
one-
and so on this dice, I see 2. I don't know what camera. I think this camera can pick it up down here. I see a couple of blades. That means 2 attacks, basically.
2 hits, yeah.
2 hits,
2
okay.
successful hits.
And-
Well, I shouldn't say successful because it can block it, but there's you've rolled all your possible attacks.
So 2
there,
strikes, and if you got one
there.
it'd be 1
yeah,
strike.
or
Okay,
nothing.
Gotcha. Or
In this
nothing.
case, I got 4, and I
Okay.
bobbled on 2.
Okay.
No special trigger and 1 special trigger.
Okay,
and I'll
cool.
worry about that in a second. So
And,
4.
and what designates the amount of dice that we have in our hand?
You added up according to. So I'm attacking. My
Yeah.
character has an attack dice of 1, and the weapon itself is an attack dice of 3.
Okay,
4
gotcha.
dice.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
So basically, you get to be the monster now.
Okay.
So attack the maintenance bot there. It's got a 2 defense.
So I wouldn't use these dice, or does it?
You
matter?
could any green dice.
Okay, any green dice. And the player is red. The monster is green.
No, the red is attack, green is defense.
Green
and
is defense,
both the
okay.
monsters and the players will
Gotcha.
use them equipped the same way.
Gotcha. So 2 defends.
2 defense,
So
but I
s-
hit it 4 times.
Okay.
which means if I help with 2, I've got it. So I kill the maintenance bot.
Okay, maintenance bot dead. And you selected the maintenance bot. You targeted that how?
You just decide. You're in the room.
So you just you
there,
pick
there,
it.
there,
Okay.
there. Like I said, there's a range, but stuff has been abstracted that when you walk into a room, it's not about how many feet away am I, etc.
You can roll everything and then decide what.
No. You got to pick before you start rolling. Yep.
Okay, and you've got to tell your colleagues that I'm choosing this one.
Yep.
Okay, so that it's fair that way.
Yeah. Well, it's tabletop gaming. If you don't announce it, people will glare at you. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. This is cool.
Yeah. So I've done that. You've attacked. I've attacked. So
Okay.
we've gone through our rounds. We have order cards here. We've done all that. There's 1 monster left, so we can't. In this place, we could forge to try to get more items, but we can't do that until we get rid of the monster.
Gotcha.
So basically, at this point, you and I have both gone through. So we're going to put your food marker down.
Okay.
And you shot your weapon, so put your bullet, if you haven't already, down.
To where?
Just to go by 1. So one.
So this
one
way?
Food, no, down. 1
This
food.
way? Okay.
And 1 bullet.
One
Right.
bullet.
All
Okay,
right.
cool.
So that's
But my health is fine because
that's fine.
I
yeah.
wiped it out.
So
with one thing.
this is time and resources going down as we play, basically.
Gotcha.
All right, now the monster is gonna. You're not in the room, so it's gonna take a shot at me because there's nobody else there.
Okay.
So in this case, again,
Because I'm outside. I breached the door, but I didn't go into.
That's
the room.
right.
Okay.
So in this case, you can be the monster. So I'm not rolling the monster for myself.
So now I'm in attack mode.
Yep.
Okay.
Not bad.
So there's 4 strikes.
4
on
strikes
you,
and
on
2.
you.
Yep. And I got 1 and my flak jacket of 2, so I got a 3 there.
Okay.
Roll good.
And this is your defensive roll, and you only got 1 defend on
1. So 3 went through. And I
Okay.
go 1, 2, 3.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you die. It's a roguelike.
It's a roguelike.
And so it won't take you very long if
No,
you
no,
make
that's-
mistakes. And
Oh well,
poof.
that's
Yeah.
a bad step will harm you, but
Okay.
I'm okay. I mean, look, we're hale and hearty. I
Okay.
took a few hits.
Yeah.
I got a med patch. Worst comes to worst, I can slap
Oh,
on
okay.
me.
You do
Yeah.
have some of those. Okay.
If you're playing with the medic can do stuff. Skills, there's medic
Okay.
skills. You can find med packs. Like I said, there's so many options to getting through this.
When did you decide that this was an idea that you guys want? Because this is a commitment, right?
Yeah.
Clearly, like every single piece, you had art crafted and you had
Yeah.
design crafted, but to physicalize all of this, when did you guys say, "Yeah, we're doing this"?
It came about actually more as a business resource thing that we were sitting around. So
Yeah.
the gang's all working in the pen on a digital game like we normally do, and
Yeah.
CEO Martin Sirlis, who's a huge tabletop gamer. I have the wall, like the shelf of board games.
Yeah.
He has a room,
Right.
and I don't mean it's the room where you go to play. It's the room
Where they're
that just
stored.
stores it, and then you take it out and go play. So
Right.
we're sitting around, and one day he pointed out, he's like, we get to the end of our production, programmers are still going nuts. There's debugging to be done, but artists and designers, while every once in a while we need to help
Right.
out with that stuff,
Right.
time is kind of opening up.
Yeah.
And depending on, we could, work towards the next digital, or those resources can work without programmer support to make, because there's no programming required here.
It's brilliant, and there's 2 companies that I can kind of reference firsthand that I
Yeah,
kind of
go
saw
for
that
it.
they did that. Ensemble, which rest in peace that company, but
Yeah.
all great developers out there. But they were, slaves to board games. They loved them, and I'm
Yeah.
sure they built their own, or members of the team built their own. But I remember that they said we pencil and paper everything like it was a board game before
That's
we do everything.
that's the thing. Under the hood of every video game, the guys making them,
Yeah.
the mechanics and the guts of them, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
RPGs, you're running with stats and values. It's just all being done under the hood of the computer.
Yeah.
You can take all that and translate it over into a tabletop mechanics, and that's
the other company is Weta, which
Yep.
Peter Jackson famously sort of founded in New Zealand to do Lord of the Rings, but then they weren't always doing Lord of the Rings, and so they basically built a toy studio out of there and a collectible
Yep.
studio.
Those
to keep
ray
people
guns and all that,
busy
yeah.
and keep people employed, and that's what you got to do. You kind of have to roll and adapt and grow, right?
like I said, when we realized that, we have these resources available, we have all this art and stuff to pull from,
Yeah.
and the world has opened up in order to, this is the prototype, and
Yeah.
we were able to just basically contact some people and get some printed up before we even worried about contacting full-blown manufacturers.
Yeah.
We can do this.
How
And,
long has it been to get us to this point?
A year and a half.
Okay.
A little under a year and a half.
Okay.
And at about the midpoint, we were going to third parties, and we said, you know what, let's just get ourselves a Formlabs Form 2. And we started printing. Because
So
again,
you buy your own printer. And,
if we're designing the 3D models in-house,
yeah.
why wait the turnaround time? And we're going to make so many and iterate.
Yeah.
We got our own printer.
Are you guys busting crap around the office so that you can print it up again?
No, actually.
Who broke the spatula? Doesn't matter. We're got one printing. We're good.
We got it. Yeah, exactly. There's a couple of guys that are sitting there. Can I print my Blade Runner gun? The last thing, and this is the one that we're excited about, but it's kind of new. We haven't seen anybody else do it. Is one of the tiers on Kickstarter. We've offered up the files.
Yeah.
If you come in at that tier, if you have your own 3D printing ability.
Wow.
We'll just give you the files, and you can print out more. Because what we have now is the base game comes with 10 awesome figs.
Yeah.
We have add-ons where I want more robots, I want more ever. But if you can print your own,
this is the future.
That's what we think too.
I mean, honestly, like people, like we saw Disney Infinity was destroyed because of the manufacturing process and the shipping of all that stuff.
All fun games.
Yes.
All amazing, but still kind of slave to the traditional production cycle.
Yeah. If people can build their own stuff, that is the future of board games. It's the future of video games as well.
I think so.
Yeah.
We're already seeing more and more video game companies, Dark Souls and all that, doing translations. And we're gonna see if we can drive things a bit forward a bit more by letting people print their own figs. On top of, we'll sell to people who don't have a printer yet. But think about 5 years ago, who had a printer in their house? Yeah. In 5 more years, I think it'll be like having the VCR or the microwave.
Let's hope that the 3D printers work better than the traditional printers, though. Many printers have become my nemesis over the years.
The Form 2 has been working pretty well for us. So far, so good.
That's awesome. Well, let's play one more round.
All right.
And while we play one more round, we are going to throw to a brand new look back. What is our buried treasure today, Blake? I forgot what it is.
It's the Call of Juarez.
Oh, a great one. It's a classic Western game, Call of Juarez Gunslinger. Take a look. If things go according to Rockstar's plan, this is going to be the year of Red Dead Redemption 2, but to get us into that Western video game mode, I've got a buried treasure for you. It's called Call of Juarez Gunslinger, developed by Techland. They made a bunch of these Call of Juarez games, but Gunslinger, I think, was the most enjoyable of the titles. They really refined the idea of strapping on a pair of 6 shooters and being a cowboy in the Wild West. You play a gunslinger named Silas Greaves, who walks into a bar and starts having all of these crazy fever dreams in the tall tales that he tells. And that was an interesting conceit with the way that they developed the story in this game, because as you are getting called out on some of these kind of BS lies that you're spouting at the bar, your story kind of changes. And what's also interesting about this are all the very famous cameos. Billy the Kid and Jesse James and all kinds of great Western marquee names are in this game, which was really cool. And it was just super fun. They have a little bit of bullet time. They've got some great mechanics. You can play the Xbox 360 as a backwards compatible title on your Xbox One. There's also a version for PC that you can still get on Steam. And there, of course, was a PlayStation 3 game. This was a terrific title, and if you are craving a Western experience, I suggest you go dig up Call of Juarez Gunslinger. We are back, and we have another human in the studio today. It's a 2-in-1. This is Baruti. How you doing, brother?
Pleasure to be here.
Happy New Year.
Of course.
Haven't seen you in a little while.
I mean,
Happy New Year.
That's right. It's been a little bit.
Yes.
That was a really cool game you guys were playing.
That's crazy, yeah. The Pit, and there is a Kickstarter. It's the Pit board game from Kerberos, and there is a Kickstarter that you can see. Come on over to the light here a little bit. The light is kind of skewed forward, so I want to make sure everybody can see it.
Well, what was that line that was going to be on the box? It's throw up, but beautiful throw up. I don't know about that one, Vic.
I'm sorry, Chris. That was off the cuff. This is live stuff, man.
Whatever it is, we were talking about puke and all kinds of crazy things throughout this stream so far. So it looks like we're all good with audio here.
Yay! Technology is amazing.
And to even have an opening sequence like this, obviously we're playing Monster Hunter World. If you guys have just tuned in.
So this is the first time you're seeing any of this?
This is the first time I'm seeing this. I've played a lot of the betas, and they kind of just throw you straight into the hunts.
Right.
So this is quite cool. Usually there is a cinematic where they show you some of the giant and ancient monsters.
You're basically playing one of those.
You are pretty much playing it, exactly, which is so very cool.
Yeah, you're freaking out. You're like, oh my god, giant monsters up, we're gonna get hit by lava. And what I did is I Because the first thing, obviously, you do, you spend like a weekend making your character in every Monster Hunter game.
That's right. They have like a Tommy Wiseau little preset.
I skipped all that. Yeah. I don't think people really wanted to see about the character customization. You also make your Palico, your little cat character.
That's right. Did you skip that too, Vic?
Well, I made them, but I made them quickly. I basically tried to remake them like I did yesterday. Like, super cool guy. And I made my cat Clyde, who, rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace, Clyde. That's right.
He's in this game, so it's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
It tugs at the heartstrings. Sounds okay? We're good? Oh, from who? Eckhart's Ladder, thank you so much. Thank you. I think that super chat is going to a new streaming platform because we keep having audio issues with OBS, but that totally rocks. Thank you so much. That's awesome. So we are just at the opening stages of Monster Hunter World here. I guess we should show all of this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's good for people to know and to just see how much the game and the franchise has grown.
Yeah.
This is what fans were pretty much asking for. People wanted it to come to the Xbox One, wanted it to come to the PS4.
Well, the thing that's exciting me the most, and I've picked it up, I picked up on it, and I've talked about it in interviews that I've had with people, just with John Riccardi the other day, is the open world sort of quality of the game has changed.
That's true. That's a very, very good point, because before, even during a hunt, every time you go to a new area, there was a loading screen, a very short one, but you were able to kind of use that for your advantage.
Well, and the cameras always confused me in those as well. So sometimes I'd go into a thing and I'd step back and it would load into another area.
Exactly,
and that would drive me kind of crazy. So this feels a lot more modern, and as I discovered when I talked with John, that they've streamlined a lot of the resource collection in here, so you can do things on the fly, so you're not having to kind of stay on the ground and sort of dig for something over and over and over again. You just press the button as you're passing a plant. Or
that's right.
It's just quicker. Everything's meant to be speedier in terms of the mechanics to get you into the core fun of the game. I think now I can.
That's right. Looks like you're.
No, I can't. I'm getting to the camp, and then I got to get to the bigger camp, and then I think I can. So here we discover that there's a little bit of a mystery, and that there were hunters in here, and then we're going to keep cruising along, and then I can open up the map. Yeah,
usually a lot of the way the games go is that, there's usually a town or a village that's being disrupted by some form of monster in that region, and you kind of earn your trust with that village by slaying that monster, and then they want you to do more, and it just starts a whole chain of events. But overall, the thing I'm most excited for about this game is the fact that it's really, I think, going to make its mark in the North American audience. I felt like Monster Hunter was never really part of the conversation as it should have been in terms of Capcom franchises. Well, only North America.
It's a bit weird in terms of some of the aesthetic choices. Like you start off in your underwear, and
it's also very grindy. You really have to put a lot of time in, and there's a lot of text to read, and to understand the weapons takes time. And because you are interacting with characters and there's a voice talking to you, telling you what to do, I feel like that alone just makes the whole experience so much more enjoyable and so much more modern. Because they never really changed the formula a lot.
They didn't, but they did modernize a lot, and they scaled up and went into a lot more verticality, and they sort of...
in this game they did,
Well, even on the 3DS, the last little while, like they got more robust, so it gave them the platform to be able to launch to a PlayStation 4 or to an Xbox One. And it does feel much more accessible. You can completely see that. But I think because they've got all of this history, I think I'm going the wrong way. Because they have all of this history, it's also very refined and massive.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually looking at before I got to this stream, and Monster Hunter is about Capcom's 8th, 9th, and 10th best-selling games of all time, and after that, there's one or two games in between. And it's almost all filled with the rest of the Monster Hunter games. So it's a very, very big franchise for them, and I feel like this game is going to do very, very well, especially the best that it's ever done in the West here.
It's a big deal that they launched it all over the world at the same time. When did you start to fall in love with this franchise? Because you're more excited about Monster Hunter than anybody I know. Personally.
I first played the very first one on PS2. But when I really started to play it a lot and started to just get everything and get into the G ranks and all of the crazy stuff was when it came out to the PSP. And I think that's a lot of people can probably relate to that with me. And in Japan, a lot of people, because they're always on the go and they're on trains, games like this are so big, right? They're very like Monster Hunter sells like crazy there. So that's when I really got into it. Was the PSP around 2005-06 era, I want to say, and playing the second one and playing the third one, and then eventually, you know, Nintendo started to kind of get the rights to the games, and I started to play them obviously on the 3DS after that.
Yeah.
And very.
Oh, they've been pretty fantastic games on the 3DS too.
They were pretty. Generations was awesome. You know, they added the whole styles and.
They're epic.
Yes, exactly.
You know, for a little handheld game, and you get this massive, but it almost felt like oversized for the machine.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It totally was something that was pushing the power, and you felt it chugging a little bit sometimes, but it was always running very well.
So we have a little sequence here where we hide in the bush. They're teaching you some of the mechanics here, so you can get away from the monsters. Pretty dumb. Apparently, sense of smell not working with some of these monsters. Okay, now we. Did I do that? Okay, I'm still hiding.
And this is all quite new too. A lot of this stealth, a lot of this inspecting for evidence. You know, smelling the dung to know where the to know where the monster is, to kind of make the process a little quicker. Because before, you know, in the missions, you kind of have to know through experience where the monsters would kind of start out and where they would like to fly to what areas. This game, you really just have to go into investigation mode. Which is very cool. I like that a lot more. It's a little bit more, you know, dynamic and not a lot of the same thing.
There's the characters have a lot of acrobatic animations and stuff too, which I'm digging as well. There's a cool sequence coming up here. I'm not going to spoil it, but we see some beasties.
No, I don't know what we're going to see here. So,
gonna take here. You want to play for a second?
I got it.
There you go. I'm going to take my watch notifications off there.
It's not inverted. It's so difficult.
I can't believe you're inverted.
I'm inverted, of course.
That's crazy.
Oh, there. Okay.
So
it's so difficult to control.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people give me a lot of crap for being inverted too.
Me too.
And we're the inverted bros. We're the inverted. You know, it sucks because when you go to a lot of events, a lot of demos, they don't add an options menu, so you're forced to play a lot of betas and alphas. Without inverted.
Story of my life. That's how I break a lot of games and demos. and then developers are like, why don't we give the control to that?
This is so cool.
This looks really good. This is just on the regular PlayStation 4. This isn't on the Pro, and it still looks really sweet. PS4, how old is it now?
PS4 came out in 2013, I want to say.
So it's getting on 5 years. It's still a really solid machine. Like, it's got some juice still.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so we meet this guy, and I think this is Nolan North's voice. Somebody can correct me on the stream if so.
Pass it back to you now.
Okay, all right. So now we get into the we got to run for our lives.
Yeah.
Although somehow I'm behind everybody, but I'm okay.
You're leaving your squad, Vic. You can't do this with your buddies. I know actually in the game.
Here's our Jurassic Park moment.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
That's pretty cool, right? All right, so now we cruise through here, and now we get this cutscene, and it's very dramatic and it's crazy.
Yeah, for someone who's into the Monster Hunter games, you know. Who's never played them before, they probably would think that this is the norm for the franchise. They really put a lot of love and care into this game.
There's some dinero behind this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. We're going to keep playing, and we're going to come back. But I think it's time for us to we're going to do the whole Let's Play and chat. We're going to take your questions and all that stuff. But I think it's time for us to throw to a brand new Reviews on the Run. This is a game that I've been playing on the Switch quite recently. Let's check it out. It's called Battle Chef Brigade. I've been playing a game on the Switch called Battle Chef Brigade. I streamed a little bit of this on EP Live, and I've taken it on the road with me, and I've played it in a bunch of different places, and it's really cool. It's really a fun experience. It's weird as hell. I mean, this is a game where you've got a puzzle element where you're trying to combine colors and things disappear, and that's part of the cooking process, but that's just one little piece that's sandwiched in there. There's also this huge kind of story about Mina, who is trying to kind of become one of the best of the battle chefs out there, and there are tournaments that you get into with other people, and you have relationships with them, and you're talking with them, and you're challenging them, and you're learning from them, and you're getting gifts from them. But then you go into these tournaments, and the idea is you have to go and hunt what you cook, and you have to impress the judges. And so you get into these tournament type situations. A clock is counting down, there's expectations. Maybe you have to go and cook with some dragon meat, or some kind of weird nectar. You've got to go and hunt and grab the vegetables and the meats and the ingredients and the essences and the flashy magical ingredients that will make your dish stand out. And then you go back and you drop it in your pantry, but that's not enough. You got to go and hunt and get some more. So you go back and hunt and get some more, and then you come back and you load up your pantry as quickly as you can. And sometimes it takes a while. You got to use magic effects and daggers and all kinds of skills to be able to take down some of these enemies. Once you do that, then you start the cooking process, and that's where that sort of puzzle mechanic comes into play. And meanwhile, that timer is counting down the whole time, and you are trying to serve up the fanciest dish that you can, and you see how all the ingredients combine, and you can kind of see what your souffle, your magical kind of flambe dish is going to be. And then you take it off out of the pot and you serve it, and then you're judged by it. And sometimes you've got to prepare multiple dishes. And you're judged on all of those, and you accumulate a score, and that score then butts up against your opponent, and whoever gets the high score wins. We've heard that before, but it's cool, and it's kind of enthralling to be sort of challenged like that, like go cook as quickly as you can, but you got to go and use your magic and your powers and your double jump skills and all of these different attributes that you have to get the ingredients and make them as fancy as you can. Get the fanciest stuff that you can as quickly as you can. Great stuff there. Then you're also going into towns and you're having interactions with all kinds of people. Early in the game, you're talking with this innkeeper who is convinced that you are a boy, but Mina is a girl. And then you have these, you sleep and you start your next day over, and you have different kinds of conversations with similar people. There are store owners that will sell you things, but also ask you to go and find things. There are restaurants that you may go in and help out on to prepare a bunch of dishes, and customers will zip by and grab them and say, thank you, and grab the stuff. This is a charming experience. It was kind of an out-of-nowhere surprise. Adult Swim Games is the publisher on this thing, and I really kind of dig it. I like its weirdness. It doesn't have production values that you're going to walk away and go, oh my God, that was the most amazing Switch game I've ever seen in my life. It looks a little Flash, sort of paper crafty. I always think of some of these Flash-style games as if the artist had cut around these characters and made them move and animated them with little bits of animation, but not tons. But there's an injection of great little voice quips in there, and some solid voice acting, some fun storytelling, a sense of humor, and just this kind of strange collection of great gameplay types and mechanics that make this thing odd and stand out and original, and a great game to play on the Switch, whether you're playing it on a big TV or cruising around with it. I like Battle Chef Brigade. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. All right, you guys know the drill. Super cool game, by the way, that Battle Chef Brigade.
Yeah.
Crazy idea. I thought I was going to hate it, but I really liked it. Got addictive. I played it with my kid, too, and she was enjoying the whole process there. Okay, you know the drill. Let's play a chat. The way that we kind of wrap up the show on EP Live here, we play a game for about 15 minutes. This was such a massive game, we had to play it a little bit longer. Plus, Baruti came and joined me.
Thank you.
But we are going to talk a little bit, and you guys can ask us whatever you want. You can ask Baruti whatever you want. Get personal.
Sure. Yeah.
Ask him all about his love life. If you want. Wherever you want to go. We're cool.
We're here for
you.
you.
Here, all right? But we got 15 minutes on the clock. Let's see how far we can get into Monster Hunter World. I'm pretty sure we can beat the game.
Wow, right? Look at this. Yeah. Look at this. 15 minutes is barely enough time for one hunt, Vic. But
all right,
look at this village. This is very, very cool. This is the first time I'm seeing this actually.
Actually, we're going to do 15 minutes to be flip into inverted.
Yes.
Okay, so camera controls, inverted, reticle controls, inverted.
Remember back in the day when you had no option? Like wasn't GoldenEye like automatically inverted?
Yes.
But I remember like there were just a lot of crazy things, but Look at this world. This is really cool. And Vic, one thing you got to promise me with this game is that you're going to play online with other people.
Oh, absolutely.
All right?
Well, I sent you the code because I want to play with you.
We're going to play, all right?
I'm riding on your jet stream, man.
Yes.
Now, me and my cat are just going to be following you. Wherever you take us, we go.
Now, I'm curious, what weapon that from you, what you've played so far have you really fallen in love with?
Well, over the years,
Yeah.
I tend to go with just a regular sword, I think.
Yeah, like the great sword or the
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
big.
Nice.
It's like that guy's sword.
Yeah, that's the great sword. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
The tough to miss weapon.
The tough to miss, but you hit hard. Yeah, no, they've added so many new ones over time.
Yeah.
And definitely when you start having a team dynamic, you begin to start to find uses in some of the other harder weapons to use. Like a lot of the bow guns and the bows are a little bit more difficult to master. But when you've got a team to kind of take all the aggro for you, you can stay in the back and shoot, pellets and bullets at a monster. It really helps out.
For those that don't play this game, never got the portable things, maybe not even like portable games at all, and I believe this is coming to the PC as well, so there's going to be this whole other brand new audience.
I think it's a little later, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's next month. What do you say? How do you encapsulate Monster Hunter? What kind of a game is this? Clearly, it's an RPG. It's a role-playing game.
It's a role-playing game. Yeah, it's definitely a lot about mastering your weapon, and a lot about kind of it's a very social game is how I would probably describe it into one. It's really about playing with your friends, hunting monsters, and really finding a team dynamic. And if you're really, even if you want to play this game alone, I know that the game has some really good online modes. It's an absolutely amazing experience. Yeah, is this Clyde here?
Clyde right
that's
there.
awesome.
Looks just like him.
That's awesome.
Miss my little buddy.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. This was a gift. This was a gift from Ian Wren, and got that over the holidays. And this was a nice surprise. Had no idea that this was coming, but I love it. It's awesome, and I think this year we're gonna figure out how to get some cool EP merch out there. So this is it's we have a lot of balls in the air right now. So the idea of thinking of like how do we focus on getting something that people can buy. I mean, Kerberos is going through that right now with all this stuff. It's a challenging idea to try to create a physical thing that people can purchase.
Yeah.
But I would like to see that happen. We've got some history with EP, and we've got some pretty cool logos and stuff. This looks good, though. I saw it on the stream the other day, and I thought, yeah, that looks pretty cool. And I've been using it. It's great.
I always bug you, too, about a lot of the merch, too, because you still have a few of those mugs and some of those bags. They look amazing.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
We got a nice care package of basically ideas of potentials. And Ian said, don't it's kind of not meant to show off to everybody because people are going to be asking about it. But
yeah.
It's cool.
Hey, I saw it and I was asking.
My wife gives me shit, though. She's like, well, you're actually walking around outside with a big electric playground thermos?
Yeah.
What, do you want people to be staring at you? It's like, well, I like it. It's a good thermos. It looks cool.
I've heard that from musicians before, where like musicians get crap for listening to their own music. It's like, really, you sit in your car and you listen to your own songs?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm a little concerned about too. Like, I don't want to turn this into the home shopping EP live.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But if you guys would want to wear shirts and hats and what else would we want? Flasks?
Yeah.
The scarves? Monocles?
Monocles? Oh my God.
Right? Gotta be different.
Yeah.
Let's zag when everybody's zigging. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty rad.
I like the idea. Oh my God, look at that cat.
I actually am working out on I can't say anything about what it is, but I'm in the process of putting together a relationship with another company that specializes in a specific product, and they want to partner with us. And we've started a conversation. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it feels pretty likely that it will. You guys will be shocked, but it's super cool. And I hope it happens soon so we can start talking about it. But it's very interesting. It was an out of the blue conversation. The person reached out to me and said, "I've got this idea. It sounds crazy, but hear me out." And I love the idea. So I think it's going to happen. But I don't like to say that kind of stuff until it kind of does. But keep your eyes peeled. Anybody else got a comment or question?
Super Chatter Eckhart's Ladder wants to know how you balance playing video games and work with
That's the thing we all wonder with Vic.
Well, I got to do it during the day kind of thing, and then when my wife and my daughter are asleep, you guys have seen me in some super late night streams and stuff. I can be a bit of a night owl. One of the resolutions that I made for this year, though, is I definitely need to get more sleep, because sometimes by Friday night, because my job is to consume this stuff and see these movies and play these games, and so my eyes are open and my mind is open all week, trying to get these stories into my brain so I can talk about them. But some Friday nights it's been 9 o'clock and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't even. I gotta just, and I'm totally dead.
Yeah, sometimes there's certain games release, and I know Vic is gonna be doing the rundown in the morning or EP live in the morning.
Yes.
And you're up at 2 a.m. or something like that, and I'm usually up there editing, but I can see you online, and I'm like, man, really, Vic is.
I play. I don't just pretend to be this.
Yeah.
I am this guy. I built this stuff, and there's no broadcaster giving us a license fee right now. We don't have this. Here you go. Here's a year's worth of content we are going to pay you to make. Right now, it is absolutely I want to do this. Yeah. I love this. I'm passionate about it. And so I'm not trying to fool anybody. I want to play these games and talk about them, and it takes time.
Of course.
My family gets that. Sometimes I do feel huge pangs of guilt that I'm thinking about a game when, I maybe shouldn't be, but they understand it's part of who I am. So I try my best to play and get all of my stuff done during the day. Sometimes the screenings are at nights during the week, and my family says, they accommodate me sort of being absent so I can go and check out a terrible movie
with John, most likely.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that's probably unique to my situation is that I've been doing this for so long that this is what I do. This is my job, right? I don't have another job like everybody else that most people have to go to, and then they carve out a couple hours during the week to get away from their family to go and play. My job is to do that.
Exactly.
Plus editing, plus shooting, plus writing, and a little bit of pitching to potential companies and partners and stuff like that. But I find that I find that more and more difficult, is to say, well, I'm going to just give up all kinds of time that I could be building content for you guys or soaking up stuff for my own fun to go and write some things that may happen or may not happen.
Yeah.
I had more time for proposal writing and for pitching and stuff like that when we had a bigger team, and I'd make more time in the week to do all that stuff. But now, I prefer to put most of my focus and my time and my attention into kind of getting lost in these worlds so that I can talk about them and relay stuff about them and have conversations like we did with Chris today with people that build all this stuff. Because I honestly feel like we're losing a lot of those connections with these people, these creative folks out there, because everybody has their own YouTube or Twitch channel, and all they do is play a video game and stream to their audience and bitch about what the developers did wrong, and that just seems so reductive to me. It's these are creators with real passion and intelligence and fire. Let's find out who they are. Let's have conversations with them. And no creative work is absolutely perfect for everybody, but this stuff all has tremendous cultural value, and let's soak it up. That's why I created EP in the beginning, and that's what I love to do. So you're shopping? What are you doing?
So right now we're just changing the equipment.
Okay.
Every Monster Hunter game kind of starts off this slow. So
Yes.
I know that this is probably a lot to you guys to take in. You guys are like, what are you doing? You're just walking around in a town all day, but this is really...
It says Monster Hunter on the box.
Yes.
But be prepared for 3 hours until you're the hunting of the monsters is happening.
And I feel like this is why it never really got captured a lot of people's hearts in the West. Because it kind of has that grind phase that I was mentioning earlier to you guys. It's there is a lot to kind of take in first, but once you're really in it, you absolutely understand the magic of this game and what the developers were thinking when
you
designing
only
this
have
game.
to talk to 30 or 40 cats, and then
and
then you can go.
Yes.
But then, you get basically you specialize. You pick the weapon that you want. You get sent out on missions, and then there's a whole bunch of side quests, and people need mushrooms for their soup and things like that. and then you go off on those kinds of missions.
Yeah,
That's
you go-
the history of Monster Hunter. I assume there's a lot of things that connect with it.
Exactly. There's certain missions where you're just harvesting a certain,
Yes.
plant or something that you need, or
Yeah.
so there's a lot of different things, but it takes a while to really get into the harder quests. So here we are in the training area here.
Yeah.
We-
Okay. So we'll actually get into a little bit of action before
Sure.
the alarm goes off.
Oh wait, we'll go.
So yeah, don't exit the
Yeah,
door.
how come it's not?
Okay.
Oh,
And
next.
then-
There you go. Wait,
No, and then next.
which it tells me to exit the tutorial. Huh? Interesting. There you go.
Okay.
That was just really
So-
weirdly worded. You just have to say yes, exit the tutorial, and then you're fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that was the tutorial.
Yeah.
That one page of information in the tutorial.
So I don't use the heavy blades anymore, but you gotta, in this game, you really gotta learn how to utilize your dodges,
Don't
for sure.
kill my cat.
Okay, I will not
Okay.
kill, I promise.
All
I will
right.
not kill Clyde for you, I promise.
Look at that thing.
But-
the thing is bigger than the dude.
So,
That's amazing. Wow. Oh, that bomb is going off.
yeah.
Boom.
Get blasted by
Yes.
it. Let's
So
try doing the charge slash
Clyde
here.
from EPN is going off.
Yeah, he's setting up bombs right now. Yeah, and actually you can get your palicos to do a lot of stuff. They're palicos.
Are they palicos or palicos?
Palicos, I think it was,
Palicos.
yeah. And this is I guess this is the weapon you like to do. So Vic, when we play together, this is what you're gonna do. When a monster's down, you do this on their tail.
Okay.
You'll cut off their tail.
Nice.
And we will be able to harvest the tail. But it looks like I'll just leave this for now because this was also in the beta.
Okay.
Not sure how you leave here, but we'll see. Can I just go here? There you go.
Ah, so we go back to the room. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't get this far because it was getting late, but I got into the area. So now in the room you can customize all that.
Yes, customize your equipment. That's pretty much your hub where you
Yeah.
want to change your weapons,
Can
change
you bring
your
back
armor.
skulls and stuff like that?
Yeah,
in this game?
you mean like make a skull helmet?
Yeah,
or
where like your trophies are sort of scattered around your.
Oh,
room.
I'm not sure actually about with this game. I'm not
Yeah.
entirely sure because they've added so much new stuff that
Way more detailed
It is.
and way more levels and layers and stuff like that than in the 3DS game, obviously.
All right, so where is the canteen? Is that
Okay.
Go back to
So the
this
town
town.
is called Asteria.
yeah? Very beautiful. I love the Monster Hunter towns and Generations was the last game that they released on 3DS, and
Yeah.
that was a kind of a celebration of every Monster Hunter
That's
because
cool.
you literally visit every single first town from every Monster Hunter game.
That's sweet.
And it was
you
just
love it?
good. I loved. Yeah, Generations was great. It was one of the very different Monster Hunter games because they added like styles to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're able to like play an aerial style. You're able to like adept and guarded. So you were very like it really changed up gameplay mechanics quite a bit. So it looks like we're heading in the right track here.
Mm-hmm. Do people think that that's Nolan North?
I don't think so.
No.
Matthew Winstone wants to know what the glowing green things are that everyone seems to have.
Glowing green.
Oh,
thing.
that's like their health potion thing, I think.
Yeah.
And you go past vitality flowers and all kinds of sparkle dust happens in the air and it seems to go into that thing and then I'm assuming.
Like look at this. This is amazing. This is such a cool town
Yes.
to see. That is awesome.
It's very cool.
I can't. Yeah, I've just.
Did
if you were
you-
to ask me 5-10 years ago, I would have never thought that I'd see like
This
a
level of
village with this much verticality and just
Japan
detail.
has been crushing it, man.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
John and Riccardi and I were talking about it, but the developers there have really just like moved to a whole other level. Like, did you play Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
I have not, but I cut that review for you, so I saw a lot of gameplay. Yeah.
So gorgeous and
yeah.
so huge and massive, you know? Like, it's incredible what's happening right now out of Japanese studios. Very, very happy.
So I think this is what this is showing you is that you can post quests and other people can kind of join your quests that you've posted. So if you're
Yeah.
feeling a little lonely, you can post the quest and say that I want to slay this monster and people will come and join you.
On Mondays, Let's Play and Chat, I'll read a book.
Yeah. God, Vic. All right. Where does it want me to go now? Still talk to her. Okay. Oh, okay. I have to accept the quest. Okay.
Okay. So I knew that was going to happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was 15 minutes of hysteria in Monster Hunter. That gives you an idea of the...
Just as we accepted the quest. But it's fine. We wouldn't have time to have finished it anyway at this point, so it worked out.
Them's the rules. I'll tell you what, though, everybody. I will play some of this over the weekend, and I will stream some so I can connect with everybody that way.
Yes, and during your stream, actually, one thing before we close off is I think this game actually has a hunting guild.
Okay.
And I think it'd be really fun if we made an Electric Playground hunting guild.
EPN?
EPN,
Okay.
and then just join a lot of the community.
All right.
And just to join so everyone can hunt with each other and help each other out.
Hands up. Who's going to be playing Monster Hunter World this weekend and joining the EPN community?
I'll be there.
I'm looking.
Don't worry.
I think Adrian maybe is. There might be one or two.
You're not looking into their souls right now.
We got another super chat from Eckhart Slatter.
Oh my God! No, that's amazing. Eckhart Slatter, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Was there a comment or a question or anything that we can answer?
Yeah, but it's long.
All right.
Let's read it later.
Okay, all right. You rock. Thank you very much. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. And we're still figuring out some of the technical issues, but we will get better at this.
Of course.
And thank you, of course, to my guests, Baruti, Bear Safi.
Bear Safi.
Do you like Bear Baruti?
For now, like Bear Safi is good.
Bear Safi. And Chris Stewart from Kerberos, who showed us. Did I say? No, it's Kerberos. Chris Stewart from Kerberos Productions. Remember, I had such a difficulty trying to say that word before we were on camera. It took me like 8 times to try to get that right. Go and check out the Kickstarter for The Pit. The game, it looks absolutely astounding. And now I want to play their video game. And you should also check out Kaiju A Go-Go. I think you'll have a lot of fun with that. You can get that on Steam. But have yourselves a fantastic weekend. We have lots of video content for you to check out. Remember, and tomorrow it's actually another classic episode of Electric Playground, Season 3, Episode 8. It goes up at 9 a.m. tomorrow Pacific time. It's a lot of fun, and new content coming next week as well. Thanks, everybody, for watching and for subscribing, for hitting that little bell. If you're so inclined, that sponsorship button, too. See you next week.